O seu programa semanal de entretenimento sobre o universo da música pesada está no ar.
De headbanger para headbanger,
Maloik!
Primeiro de tudo, obrigado a você que tem nos apoiado nas redes sociais.
E como parte de nosso agradecimento, a partir de agora começa a valer em nosso site uma super promoção onde você poderá ganhar muitos prêmios.
E você nos ajuda a fazer o quadro Heaven and Hell enviando sugestões para a categoria Sanitarium, aquela em que o convidado paga um verdadeiro mico, e concorre a DVDs e CDs da Voice Music e uma camiseta exclusiva do Maloik.
É só botar a criatividade para funcionar, que as melhores sugestões entrarão no quadro do Heaven and Hell e a melhor de todas levará o nosso kit.
E não se esqueça, para participar você tem que postar a sugestão na página do Maloik no Facebook e acompanhar o resultado pelo site maloik.com.br.
E no programa de hoje você confere a participação de Sílvio Golfetti, ex-guitarrista do Korzus, em um embate emocionante com a morte.
E a nossa Tough Girl Fernanda Lira mais uma vez fez uma viagem no tempo para cobrir a banda Focus em sua passagem por São Paulo.
E aproveitamos a passagem do Blue Oyster Cult em São Paulo para fazer um Super Hellraiser com o baixista Rudi Sarzo, que você poderá conferir em duas partes.
A primeira você confere agora.
Hey headbangers, this is Rudi Sarzo. And you probably already know that I play bass guitar with Ozzy Osbourne, Quiet Riot, Whitesnake, Dio, and Blue Oyster Cult. I would say the first band that really inspired me to be a musician, because I was still playing guitar way back when the Beatles came to America a long time ago. And I would have to say that most of the bands, musicians of my generation, they were all influenced by that one night when they performed at the Ed Sullivan Show, because we all saw that on TV, you know. I mainly because the girls were going crazy about the Beatles, and we wanted that. We wanted that same reaction, you know. But, you know, after many years of playing, you realize that it's not just about the girls. Of course, it is about the girls, but there's much more to it. It's your dedication to being a musician. You know, a musical instrument is an instrument of communication. The language is music, and it's so powerful that you can go to any country in the world, and if you play from the heart, it transcends languages because you're touching hearts with your music. Yeah, with Quiet Riot, I was in two versions of Quiet Riot. The one with Randy Rhoads, Randy and Kevin DuBrow and Duke Forsythe started the band along with Kelly Garney, the original bass player, and then I joined like around 1978 up until 79. Then Randy went off to join Ozzy Osbourne, and then when they were looking for a bass player, Randy recommended me. After he died on the plane crash, I went back to what was renamed Quiet Riot. As a matter of fact, Kevin DuBrow and asked Randy and me if we didn't mind if he called his new band Quiet Riot, because it was getting, you know, a lot of notoriety. Every time a journalist would write about Ozzy Osbourne, they would say, and Randy Rhoads from the LA band Quiet Riot. So we figured, why not, you know, get some popularity. You know, the name was becoming popular, you know. But when I went back with what was known as the mental health version of Quiet Riot, it was not the same. It was not the same as the original Quiet Riot. Not only because Randy wasn't there, but also because it was heavier because of Frankie Banali's drumming. So it was more AC/DC-ish, Led Zeppelin feel to it, even though we have songs that we consider melodic and pop, like Come and Feel the Noise. The true essence of Quiet Riot was more about mental health and bang your head, you know, songs like that. And what was it like to go all the way from number one? It's really, that's a really great question, but I'll tell you why. Because when we were recording that album, I went in there originally to record one song. Kevin called me up and said, listen, I'm going to record Thunderbird, which is a song that Kevin wrote for Randy when he left Quiet Riot. And as a tribute to Randy, he wanted me to play on that just one track. So I'm in the studio, Pasha Recording Studios, And after we recorded that track, he goes, do you remember Slick Black Cadillac? which I had played with in Quiet Riot with Randy, and in Dubrow. And I go, yeah, just give me a couple of minutes to remember, because it had been a couple of years since I played that song. So we did it like 2 times. Okay, do you remember Love's a Bitch? Yeah. So by the time I left the session, I already done half the album, like 5 songs. So it felt really good to be playing away from the Ozzy, not because of Ozzy, but because Randy Rhoads, his death changed everything, changed everybody. It was very devastating to go on stage every single night without him being there. It was the same set, same song list, same clothes we were wearing, except Randy wasn't there. So it was kind of like an emotional refuge to be away from that situation. So I gave it a lot of thought, and it came the moment that I had to make a decision. Should I join this band, the new Quiet Riot, which nobody thought that was going to sell one single record, and leave one of the biggest bands in the world, but I needed emotional. I wanted to have fun playing again. I didn't want to keep going up on stage and wanting to cry, being sad. So I made the decision, yeah, let me join Quiet Riot. At least I'm going to have fun playing again, you know. So that was the reason why I left Ozzy and joined Quiet Riot. At the time, nobody in Los Angeles believed that Quiet Riot was going to sell a single album. We had the album already mixed, ready to be released in March. Nobody wanted to manage the band. It was awful. We had to beg an old manager that we had to take care of our business because nobody else would. By November, a few months later, we had the #1 album. How did that feel? How does it feel to prove the rest of the world that they were wrong and you were right? Sweet. I left the band in Quiet Riot in '85, and Whitesnake was touring with us in '84. Actually, I didn't get the official invitation until '85 that I was out of the band. But you're absolutely right. The last night of the tour, Whitesnake and Quiet Riot, we were like, having a little cocktails in the back of the bus and, a little party, like a going away party for Whitesnake. And David gives me a hug and whispers in my ear, someday we're going to play together. Now, I knew I was leaving the band. I already gave the guys notice I was going to leave the band even before we started, the 1984 tour. But, it didn't dawn on me how it was going to happen, But, eventually it did. And there I was, 1987. I was a member of Whitesnake. Yeah. And I'll tell you something else that very few people know. I had actually told David that I was only going to do it for so many weeks because Kevin Dubrow had left Quiet Riot. Actually, he was out of the band, and Paul Shortino was going to be singing. So the record company and management and the guys called me up and says, listen, would you like to come back to Quiet Riot? And I thought, well, I got this tour coming up with Whitesnake, but Quiet Riot, that's the band that I was there from, I got so much history with the band, So I said, you know what? Yeah, that sounds like a great, let me do that. But let me first, I'm committed to so many weeks with Whitesnake. Let me do that, and then we'll carry on, and I'll be recording on the record. So I had a really heavy schedule. I was like in the daytime with Whitesnake. At night, I was with Quiet Riot, rehearsing and stuff like that. Then one day, I'm on my bicycle getting ready for the tour, and I got hit by a car. I almost got killed. I landed on my head. Anyways, I did the whole tour with Whitesnake with a cast on my leg. Yeah, I wasn't about to miss the tour, So, which meant that I have very little mobility. So I said, look, I cannot be so busy now. I'm only going to concentrate on this, my commitment to Whitesnake, because we have a tour coming up, and then I'll come back and then we'll record the album. So a couple of weeks into the tour, I'm beginning to get a sense that Whitesnake was a family. How was it working with David? It was so wonderful. Plus, everybody that I would meet, fans would tell me, "You're crazy going back to Quiet Riot. You should be here in Whitesnake." And I'm going like, then I started thinking, you know, maybe they're right. This is really cool. Great band, great guys. Yeah, I think I'll stay. That would have probably been one of the biggest mistakes of my life if I would have left Whitesnake to rejoin Quiet Riot, yeah.
Rolou recentemente no Carioca Clube, em São Paulo, a apresentação dos holandeses do Fox.
E a nossa Tough Girl, Fernanda Lira, esteve lá para reviver os anos 70. Confira.
We're here after this brilliant show, and I really want to know that, as some people know, you have a huge background on classical music and stuff, so you can play. You're a genius on playing organ, you're a genius on playing flute, you're a genius even whistling and playing a glass full of water. That's incredible. So how did you put all this, how did you get the idea to put all these elements on focus songs?
I think that's out of frustration.
Frustration?
Yeah, because I cannot play guitar, which is my favorite instrument, and I cannot play. I'm not a real lead singer, so I try to invent all kind of other stuff to just be there, you know, and to be. Maybe there's also an element of the clown, not only the clown, but you know, give some counterpart to the regular guitar and the regular drums and the regular bass, you know, and not only play the organ but do all kind of shit, strange stuff, you know, weird stuff.
During the songs, you don't even sing like real lyrics with, you know, you make a lot of songs with your mouth, and that's so cool. Why did you decide to put
like Russian a little, but it's not, and it looks like a little Portuguese or South Chinese, but it's not.
So how did you decide to put these things on the song?
Improvised nonsense. And my daughter, she's now a famous jazz singer in the whole of Europe. She does the same.
You're kidding, that's cool.
But then more in a funky jazz way.
But since the beginning you had this idea, like, no, I'm not gonna create lyrics, I'm gonna do this improvising.
I find also an expression of drama in you are smoothly with a you know, it's just shit, it's nothing. But it's coming with the music, and I use the voice as a fifth instrument, you could say. A vocalizing thing.
So cool that you can express like what you want to mean with the song. Like, for example, this song, I remember you told about one song. This song talks about the conflict of emotions and stuff. And for me, it's cool that you can express what you want only with instruments and some vocalizing parts, and not specifically with the lyrics.
I think it's important because we are mainly an instrumental band with not many lyrics, that I give a little explanation here and there, you know. Then otherwise it will become merely an instrumental show, and I think that the human voice, the explanation of here and there, some things, I think it's nice for the people that they get familiar with the meaning or with what we tried to say with a certain kind of song, you know.
And Sylvia and Hocus Pocus are two of your greatest songs, and
I think they were the most popular ones. Exactly. I think Hocus Pocus was #1. I don't know in Brazil, but in the United States it was #1, and the rest of the world. Sylvia was not #1 in the States, but it was #1 in England, for instance. It was bigger in England than Hocus Pocus. Yeah, yeah, and House of the King, that was our very first hit in Holland, in our country. I'm born in Amsterdam.
And what elements do you think make this song so special? Like, what elements?
Passion, craziness, and pure music, love for music, and craziness. Yeah.
Hocus Pocus was used on Nike's propaganda, right? And back in '69, when you get together with the band, did you imagine it could be so big like this?
Yeah, it was actually in the '70s that we started, and we recorded it just for fun, you know, like a jam. And then the manager said, "Oh, this is going to be the single. How shall we call it?" And I said, "Why don't we have a name that rhymes on focus?" And there's not many words with ocus. There's locus, jodocus, crocus. Oh, hocus pocus. That's the name, you know. And then they with the football thing in South Africa. You remember the Nike special? Yeah, you're talking about the Nike. Beautiful, you know, 3.5 minutes of pure, fantastic film with Rooney, with Rodinho, with Federer playing table tennis. And what was the music? Hocus pocus, you know, amazing. And there were, I think, 130 million people having looked at it on YouTube. So that is you cannot imagine how many. It's amazing. It's amazing. And this new, how do you call that? This new interest in the song for us was very important. And everybody heard it. And even Nike was not the head sponsor of the football match. But everybody heard it. It's amazing. Fantastic.
Tonight you played a song from Focus 9, New Skin, that Bob composed, and I feel that is the same focus as from the beginning, like the same vibe, the same elements.
I'll tell Bobby. I'll tell him because it will be a compliment for him. But he is my stepson, and since his 11th year, he lives under my roof.
So there is an influence.
You could say I influenced him, but he also influenced me because he started as a funky bass player, with playing with only black people. He was only interested in black music, and later on he became rock and roll. Yeah.
And how was the repercussion of this last song? How was the acceptance of this last album? And are you working on new songs from the next album, Focus 10?
Nearly ready with Focus 10. We are actually ready. We have a little sample that we already published, but we are waiting for the design. You know who's going to design it?
No, I'm not sure.
Roger Dean.
You guys rock.
He did all the Yes albums, O.C. Bisa, and many others. And it's very special. He's got his own signature. And he promised us that he is going to be the designer. But it takes a little extra while. So that's why we didn't take our new product here to Brazil. We're still waiting for Mr. Roger Dean.
But it's going to be worth.
Yeah, he's got a fantastic idea. Because Focus 10, you know, he thought, okay, Focus is not the 10th year, it's already lasting 40 years, the group. So let's find something else than the X, the Roman X, which is 10. Let's find something with a clock that says 10 o'clock, which is a big idea. And he found some beautiful clock, but I'm not telling you because then I reveal the secret.
Let's keep the surprise.
Yep.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for the interview. Okay.
O jogo Heaven and Hell virou um verdadeiro Enem do metal para os nossos convidados.
Confira como o Sílvio Golfetti, ex-guitarrista do Korzus, se saiu no tabuleiro da morte.
Preparado, senhor Sílvio Golfetti?
Preparado.
Então vamos lá, jogue o dado.
O dado é negro aqui. 4.
Número 4.
1, 2, 3. Electric Eye.
Electric Eye. Tire uma carta sem olhar e me entregue, por favor.
Eu preciso saber o nome da música também?
De preferência.
De preferência. On Testament. Serenity. Puta, peraí. Return to Serenity.
Errado. Por favor, jogue novamente. Bring the noise. Escolha uma carta e me entregue sem olhar. Ok.
Eu já ouvi, mas... Vai ser no chute, né? Vou chutar o Carcass, mas acho que não é.
Certo.
Agora, a música Heartwork.
Errado.
Ah, era demais acertar a música.
No Love Lost.
É, nunca ia acertar o nome da música. Quatro. Vamos lá. Ah, é terror. Vamos pegar o Glory. Boa dica, Dr. Morte.
Tire uma carta. Entregue sem olhar. Ok.
Então pode ser a dica número 1 mesmo.
Dica número 1. Sou um vocalista americano.
Dica número 4.
Dica número 4. Apesar de ser uma banda de thrash metal, crio linhas vocais cheias de melodias.
Bom, aí já tá... Puta, já...
Fechando.
Já tá quase, mas aí pode ser outros, mas vamos pra confirmar a dica número 5.
Dica número 5. Já cantei um hino nacional americano no Madison Square Garden.
Dica número 2.
Dica número 2. Gravei 10 discos com a minha banda, que venderam um total de 8 milhões de cópias no mundo.
Metallica, James Hetfield.
Errado. Joey Belladonna.
Puta, eu ia falar de Igoladona, mas pô, 10 milhões. O Metallica vendeu muito mais.
Prosseguindo, jogue o dado.
Quase 5 rodadas é muito rápido. 4. Isso é o final.
Qual banda do Texas é um trio conhecido por estar com a mesma formação há 40 anos?
Precisa hesitar.
Certa resposta.
Quatro. Pô, só tiro 4, meu. Puta, eu fiquei intrigado no Who Are You. Eu vou de novo no Who Are You, porque, meu...
Who are you? Tire uma carta
Esquerda.
para dar sorte. Entregue. Escolha uma dica de 1 a 5.
Vai, começar com a 5.
5. Toquei com 2 músicos atuais do Anthrax num dos projetos em que participei.
Toquei com 2 músicos do Anthrax. Tá bem. Big Milano.
Certa resposta.
Né? Olha, eu vou de cara, né?
Agora chegou a hora dos votos.
E frente a frente, 2 estilos distintos. Das Serras Gaúchas, a banda Torvo, com o clipe da música No More. E o King Bird, de São Paulo, vai com Getting Over My Faith.
Acesse o nosso site e vote, e confira também as edições anteriores do programa.
Mas não se esqueça de participar da nossa promoção e de quebra ajudar a fazer o jogo Heaven and Hell. Por isso estamos aguardando suas sugestões. E até semana que vem.
De headbanger pra headbanger, Maloik. O microfone já tá... Pode parar de gravar essa p*** aí. Não vou pagar mais sonho p*** nenhuma.